All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases. Kind of a gloomy day here so far in Central New York, and a gloomy day for TB and I. We both lost our 5%er last night. Mine was in ridiculous fashion. We were just talking about it off air. How the Rockies failed to cover 1.5 in that game is something I'll think about for a while. But I cashed the other two plays I had: KBO this morning, AAA yesterday. So we there's nothing else we can do but move on. TB, I liked your Mariners play. That was one that I fully agreed with. They just didn't show up. But the good news is we have Bryan Leonard back. So Bryan, how are you feeling? How have your last couple days been? And then our feature game, Red Sox Yankees, again, the big rivalry, kick us off, and we'll start the show there.
Well, the good news was I was undefeated the last 2 days. The bad news was I was in the hospital. So, but I'm feeling better today. I got a chance to watch the show the last 2 days, and I haven't missed many shows. I've been on vacation before, but I haven't missed many shows and been able to watch them. You guys did a great job yesterday. I agreed with a lot of your plays. You talked about Boston. I don't think either one of you used it, at least for a big play, and that was an easy winner. There was a lot of games I agreed with. In that Colorado game, I'm sitting there watching that thing. It's 3-1, and they kept holding on. And I had in the back of my head, we've seen it so many times with these lesser teams, bad teams.
Yep.
And said something's going to happen, and and it did. But
Bryan, real quick,
I appreciate everybody. They thought I was suspended. See what you started, Tokyo? Anytime somebody misses a show now, they're going to think we're suspended. But no, it was a health reason. It's my own stupidity, and something didn't mix well. But I'm back in 16-5 run, and I have my own 5% going today, my first of the month. So looking forward to today's card.
Bryan, before I get into like the Red Sox Yankee game, just the general thing like that, I argue with this one guy on Twitter like daily about using the +1.5 against the money line. And a huge part of the reason I'll target +1.5 in certain scenarios is because bad teams do find a way to lose games. Mm-hmm. Bad teams lose a lot of close games. That's just the reality of it. Typically, the +1.5 protects you against a collapse. Last night, it just didn't. I think we can thank the ridiculous ghost runner is what I think. I think we can thank the ghost runner for that, which just blows up any game imaginable in the extra innings. We're going to stop complaining. It's a new day. We wipe the slate clean. Bryan, start us off with Red Sox Yankees, and then we'll get TB in here.
Yeah, one comment about the ghost runner. All the stats that have gone back years that I've followed with the +1.5 tells you that it's a good bet. Now where you go into starting the game with the runner on second base and the extra innings, I'd like to see the new updated numbers on that to see if it's worth it like it used to be. It used to be a no-brainer to me. I would rarely play the -1.5 because the team only wants to win. They can win by 1. Runner on second base, they're up by 2. They don't give a crap. I'd like to see those numbers. But Red Sox and Yankees here. We are looking at if I get my right. Okay, here we go. Back to the Odds Logic line service at WagerTalk. By the way, they continue to add great things to this site. Check it out. I believe you can still get like a free 7 days. If not, if they haven't announced it, just call into the office. They'll give it to you. It's great. It's something I would be lost without. But we've got Suarez, the lefty, going against Warren. Warren's about a 130 favorite or so here with a total of 8.5. I've talked in the past about how Warren has been so good at home. He's been very good at home, and this year he's pitching better on the road. I like it when these young guys, you see them one year and they win at home, and then the next year they can build on that. And I like the way he's pitching. Suarez is a guy who has a lot of talent. He's been a little bit up and down. The Red Sox got that win yesterday, and that was a good play. But if you looked at the deserve to win meter or whatever they call it on some of these sites, the Yankees might have deserved a little bit better outcome. But still, the Red Sox got that win. And anytime the Yankees and the Red Sox get together, I don't know if it's me, but I always seem to try to find a way to play the underdog. Because it never seems to matter what the records are when these two get together. You know they're going to give the full effort. I'd rather have the full effort getting plus money back. When you take a look at what's going on for Boston right now, from a hitting standpoint, the top of the order is doing okay, but they've got some guys in the bottom part of the order from Yoshida down that just have not hit well. Chad Durbin's finally coming around, but he's not a power hitter, so he'll get on base. He'll steal some bases, but that's always a concern there. But Ranger Suarez on the season, when you're looking at the Fangraphs roster resource page, he's ranked as the 60th best pitcher in baseball. But the last 14 days, he struggled a little bit. He's at 139. I would expect him to have a little bit better effort here, especially against the Yankees team without Aaron Judge. And those are some great numbers he quoted. I believe it was like 40 and 49 going into yesterday. So that's like 40 and 50 without Judge in the lineup the last couple of years. So, yeah, it's something you have to take into account when, hey, you're losing the best hitter in baseball and you're playing against your rival. That's a major thing. Chapman had to pitch yesterday, 16 pitches. He'll still be available today. And the rest of the guys, Slayton was really good. He only pitched four pitches, and Weiser didn't pitch. So the Boston team looks like in pretty good shape here. From the Yankees' perspective, we've got the offenses. The top of the order has been doing pretty well. As a matter of fact, 5 out of the top 6 guys are hitting in the top 100 right now, but they're just not having that power that they have without Judge. But from a bullpen standpoint, they didn't have to use anybody last night, any of the key guys. Bednar only threw 12 pitches on Tuesday. Cruz 10, but that was 2 out of 3 days. And then Hedrick 19 pitches. So I kind of like some of the guys they've got in this Yankee bullpen. I'm not a big believer in Bednar, but he continues to prove me wrong. I don't trust him like I used to when he was with Pittsburgh. He's getting a little bit older. What he's now 30, just about to turn 32. So, but the line of this game is similar to what I would make it if I'm playing. I'm probably playing the Red Sox because the Yankees, as you mentioned, 40 and 50 without Aaron Judge. And we've got a pitcher in Ranger Suarez who's a pretty good pitcher off some bad starts. I think he bounces back a little bit here.
TB, let's get you in here. Yankees, Red Sox. How are you seeing it?
Yeah, the Yankees didn't drop the ball yesterday. So no errors for them. I expect their errors to come back today. Actually, my numbers are showing me basically the same thing they showed me yesterday. Red Sox are probably the play here, but a lot more red flags today because Warren's having a great season. What is he, 7-1? Suarez also having a good season. But if you look at how these pitchers pitch against the batters they're facing today, that was kind of another key to what I liked about the Red Sox yesterday. Today, not so much. Suarez has pretty bad numbers against these batters in his career with 95 at-bats against. And Warren also has extremely bad numbers against the batters he's facing today in 31 at-bats against. So I would play an over in this one, I think. I like the over better than I like the side. Boston's bullpen's playing well. Yankees bullpen not so well. Maybe a Red Sox team total over in this one might be a way to go. Haven't played it yet, but if I were to, I like that better than the side, actually.
Tokyo Brandon, yesterday you said that you thought the Red Sox should have been favored in the game. And my response to you was, people are going to think you're crazy for saying that, but I'm not that far off. And we kind of nailed that yesterday. I think I was at minus 105 on the Red Sox yesterday, something in that range. And yeah, I mean, that proved to be a very strong bet at the price. Red Sox always look like the better side. And we got that one right. I look at this again and I say, Red Sox should be favored again here. I mean, I don't know. The only difference for me from yesterday to today, you're getting a little bit less of a price than you were yesterday. And then the bullpen usage isn't as favorable, right? The Red Sox needed to win a close game last night. They needed to use Chapman, although I don't think, I'm looking at it when Colomé, Slayton, Chapman, I don't think anyone threw a crazy number of pitches. I think the most, the other two were really like real quick, like single-digit pitches. And then Chapman threw like 16 pitches to get the save. So I don't think the Red Sox bullpen is in bad shape here. Again, I'd be right back on the Red Sox. And, you talk about Judge, and Bryan brought up the stat of like Yankees win percentage without Aaron Judge since the beginning of 21 is 446. It's not very good. Aaron Judge is a guy you would love to have in the lineup against Ranger Suarez. And you take him out, Suarez, he can be tricky, like tough on lefties. He throws a lot of soft stuff. And that's the kind of guy I think Judge would probably have a pretty good game against. And now he's not there. And then you look at the win percentage. I like the Red Sox again here. I think the Red Sox should be favored again here. So any plus money with Boston makes sense Not sure it'll make my card, but that's certainly the way I'm looking at this one. Okay, let's go to we've got a donation. First of all, shout out to all you guys in the chat yesterday, because I think we had a record number for this year of like donations to the show. As we've said, they all go to charity. They're all go to a good cause. So we very much appreciate you, and it gets your comment in the starred section, so I see it. And then we make sure that we talk about the game that you want to talk about. So Alex Rand says, another killer day. Loving the analysis. TB, we kind of nailed this game. Nats, Diamondbacks. I think you said you liked the over. The Nats scored 100. I think they're still scoring. I think they're still putting runs on the board. I said I like the Nationals. No doubter on both of those. Alex wants to know, do we run it back today? TB, I'll start with you. Nats, Diamondbacks. Do we run it back with the Nationals? And do we run it back with the over?
Yeah, we absolutely do not run it back. But did Bryan say he has a 5% play today?
He sure did. That's who you should be buying today after TV. And
it's a great time to run back. It's a great time to run back a double play. So grab Bryan plus Adam and myself today. That would be a good value for you to get a double play, or a triple play is 3 days all access to your favorite capper for 30% off. Use that on Bryan because he's been on a hiatus, got all his numbers stacked up, and he's going to win his 5% play like we did not do yesterday. So grab that for Bryan. So no, we don't run it back. In my opinion, I like Rodriguez here. I like his numbers against the Nationals, although the sample size is a little bit small, but I've got Zach Littell in the bottom 5 out of 250 pitchers. He's in the bottom 5 with Brian Bayo and Jameson Tejon. They're bottom 5 out of 250 pitchers. So no, we don't run it back. I think the Diamondbacks are going to put a whopping on today, and I think they're going to score a lot of runs. The problem is the Diamondbacks are minus 162 in that area, but this is the perfect time to use a -1 in my opinion. -1 means if you win by 1, it's a push. It's like playing Pai Gow poker. You get a lot of pushes, but you lose the risk of laying 1.5 at home, because if you're winning, you only get 8 innings of at-bats at -1. If you win the game, you don't lose your money. To me, there's nothing more frustrating than picking the right side and losing your money. So -1 for me and for the Diamondbacks here would be the way to go for me.
Bryan, I kind of agree with Tokyo Brandon. I don't know if I'm in love with either of those things as much today. I thought yesterday set up for the Nationals to break out. I thought it set up for runs. Now I'm seeing a total that's a little tougher to swallow here given the matchup. And yeah, I'm just not sure. So Nats, D-backs to you. Can you give Alex a play in this game?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I wanted to play Arizona, but I thought the line came out a little bit higher than what I wanted. I'm seeing as low as 146 out there right now. If I can get a 140, I'm pretty sure I'll be on Arizona here. You've got Rodriguez, who he's a tough lefty, and he's been really good all season long. All the credit to the old guys. I like it when guys have that rejuvenation as they get a little bit older in their career. We saw it in the tournament before the season. He's been very consistent all season long, and he's going up against Zach Littell, who has pitched a little better lately, but on the season he just hasn't been very good. We may see some regression from what he's done as of late. But you're getting an Arizona team who was embarrassed at home yesterday, a Washington team that put up, 14 runs, was it? And we've talked about that. When you score a lot of runs in one game, it's tough to come back the next day and have somewhat similar success. You rarely see 2 back-to-back double digits unless you're playing the Colorado Rockies in Colorado or something. But I want to play Arizona here. The problem is this Washington team, and they've been so good to us offensively all season long, they have just continued to stay under the radar hitting wise, but I like Rodriguez here. So I thought about playing possibly the first 5, thought about playing team total, something to that effect. Still looking over a way to get my hands on Arizona one way or the other today, but that's the side I want. If I was to rank the 2 teams, at worst, I say they're equal. Arizona, I think, is a little bit better overall, but you're getting Arizona at home off an embarrassing loss with the guy who's really been fantastic at home. And if you take a look at his numbers when he's not playing like the great teams in baseball, that the teams with the 600 winning percentages and all, he's been terrific at home the last few years. So yeah, he's a guy I want to back here. I just need to find the correct way to play it.
Yeah, I'm only at 8.4 on my number for a total, which is like a full run off of where this is at 9.5. Now, is taking an under in this game terrifying? Yeah, it's a little terrifying. But I've talked about Eduardo Rodriguez a couple of times. Like he's a veteran. He knows how to pitch. Bryan kind of alluded to it. He's one of these older veteran guys that knows how to pitch. He's mixing his pitches extremely well. And it's like, can you see him going like 6 innings and giving up 2 runs here? I certainly can. I don't think that's crazy. And then suddenly you're in a 4-2 type game, a 3-2 type game, even 5-4 gets it home against the under here. I don't love Littell. He's been toward the bottom of some of my pitcher rankings like this year, but if the Nats can get him out of the game before he gives up like a ton of damage, no one really used key bullpen yesterday because it was such a blowout. Man, this would be again, it would be a tough play to make because I think you have the Nats can hit. The D-backs could put a crooked number on Littell, but like somehow, some way, I feel like this one stays 9 or less runs. My numbers say 8.4. If you're getting a 9.5 flat in the total, I think you can only play that under. It's now granted, I made a similar case for the Cubs-Giants game yesterday, and then the Giants scored 18 runs. But like that was the type of game that got out of hand. I don't think this game's going to get out of hand. This feels like a closer, tighter game after yesterday. That like if it doesn't get away one way or the other, it kind of feels like 5-3, 5-4, 4-2, something like that to me. So I'll say under 9.5. Yeah, I don't like the over today.
Can I point out a really weird stat with Washington? They're 20-12 on the road and a losing record at home. Very strange. I don't know how that happens. But anyways, that's just a weird stat I noticed.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go to the chat. Listen, I understand people are disappointed, annoyed. They buy a double play. TB and I both lose the 5%ers. I think it happened to me and Bryan earlier this year at some point. I mean, we're all running really good right now. And here's the thing. Like, I mean, hindsight's 2020. I even told, Tokyo Brandon and I typically, like, none of us, like, really talk before, or we typically don't know what each other bet. Because TB and I had one scenario earlier this year where we were on opposite sides of a big play. I happened to ask him before the show yesterday what his was, just to make sure we weren't in the same game. And as soon as he told me, I was like, I love that Mariners bet. I love that Mariners bet. Honestly, the only reason it didn't make my card in some capacity was because I've been a little pro Tigers recently. And I've just been kind of like haven't really wanted to go against the Tigers since they got a couple of their guys back. But I don't know why, like, someone's coming in here and saying, well, that's not worthy of a 5%er. It's like, yeah, you can say in hindsight, you can say anything's not worthy, right? But like, I kind of disagree with that. I thought the Mariners were the right side in that game, especially after the Tigers took a little bit of money early in the day, which was kind of predictable because they've been getting hit like day after day. I was so close to jumping in with UTB for like a 4%er or 3%er on the Mariners. Once it hit like minus 115, minus 118, even minus 120 was where I first started to really see value on the Mariners side. I got to be honest, they no-showed a little bit yesterday. I'd be running it right back with them today. I think you may have been a day early, Tokyo Brandon. I like the Mariners again today. And if that Tiger money comes in today, I think I'm going to play back against it. I'm going to start with you here. Mariners, Tigers. Are you willing to go back to the well with the Mariners after last night?
And let me make a quick point. On the road doesn't matter. The Tigers were 14-14 at home. So on the road, On the road against who? Seriously.
Brian's
So,
going to make his case about the Mariners on the road once you're done. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
so.
on the road really doesn't mean much. If you're playing a team that's 6-18 at home, then who cares, right? And the Tigers were 14-14 at home, so home didn't really mean much, to be honest. Second point is that was my first 5% loss in 7 weeks. So how can you lose so many is kind of a ridiculous comment. So on to this one. Miller going against the Tigers, and I put my matchup rankings on my Twitter X before the show, and unfortunately, neither of these guys show up on it due to either the stats not being relevant or not enough of a sample size. But Bryce Miller's been really solid, but very small sample size. Against the Tigers in his career, he's got a 228 average against and a 522 OPS. Montero is a guy I don't really like, but he's pitching well for some odd reason. He's got pretty good stats against Seattle. Seattle is one of those teams. It's like if they fall behind, they're done. I generally like their offense, but honestly, when they fall behind, they just disappear like they did yesterday. It's kind of annoying, but I've got them ranked better than the Tigers in every single category here, just by a little bit, except starting pitching. I got Bryce Miller a lot better than Montero. Bullpen also, Seattle's bullpen is better than the Tigers, at least in recent form. I don't know if I feel like running it back though, because cheering for this Seattle offense is kind of like cheering for a Japanese baseball team offense. It's like a 3-2 game every day. And it's just like when they fall behind, they just disappear. So they're probably the right side, but I'm a little gun shy because of yesterday.
I do have some conflicting thoughts that will probably play out in this discussion. So Brian, I'm curious what you have to say. Mariners, Tigers, do you have a play in this one?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good opinion on this one. Before we get to that, I just want to point out, because there was somebody in the chat, the YouTube chat yesterday was asking to tell what the best pitcher parks are in baseball. They change every year. It depends on, at certain years you get a lot of wind blowing out or whatever. But overall, lately, for the last couple of years, the ones I consider pitcher parks are Seattle, Detroit, San Francisco, because the winds were always there, and for Wrigley Field, you always have to look at the wind. Everything is dependent on the wind there. It could be a pitcher's park one day, and the next day a great hitter's park. But overall, that's what you have to look for there. But the Rays ballpark is usually a pretty good pitcher's ballpark. Miami in the past has been a good pitcher's ballpark, but only one of their pitchers is having a good start. One of their starters is having a good season. So it's not that the park is changed. It's the pitching has not been as good there. And, overall, Pittsburgh has been somewhat of a pitcher's park overall. Texas has been one of them the last couple of years. It used to be a hitter's park. Now, the last couple of years, it's definitely a pitcher's park. And, the Mets are another one. The Mets are a very good pitcher's park. And San Diego at many times can be a good pitcher's park. So there we go on that. Which points me back to this game where we've got Seattle with Miller against Montero for Detroit. We're looking right now, Miller's about a 125 favorite with a total of 8.5. I kind of like the under here. Miller's been pitching very well as of late, and Montero, I'm in agreement with TB. I thought he was a quad A pitcher. If you look at what he has done, it's well deserving. He's pitching very well, and he's pitching better. The base numbers are better than what I would expect out of him. So you've got two teams here in a good pitcher's ballpark. A lot of times when you take a look at a San Francisco or a Seattle when they go on the road, or even the Mets, when they go on the road, you have to basically add an extra run for them because they're out of the bad pitcher's park. But this is also another good pitcher's park here, and especially during the day. These Detroit unders during the day really come around a lot. I don't know if it's the sun or what happens there, but it's been really the last couple of years. It's been a pretty good pitcher's park in day games, and that's what we're getting today. So I'm liking the under 8.5 here. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. And when you take a look at the bullpens, Seattle right now, Munoz has not pitched in 4 days. Brash hasn't pitched in 4 days. And Ferraro, who they got from Miami, he hasn't pitched in 2 days. And Bizzardo got the start with the 1 inning type of thing. But other than that, Spire's been back from the DL. He hasn't pitched in 4 days. So Seattle's got great situation in the bullpen. And then when you take a look at Detroit, they had some guys they had to use yesterday. They used their top 4 relievers, but none of them pitched more than 24 pitches. And that was Drew Anderson. And none of them had pitched the previous 3 days. So they'll be back in good shape today. So I like the under in this game. It's an afternoon game. And I really like, I think the pitchers are a little bit underrated. A lot of people look at the Bryce Miller's ERA, but he's been hurt. You have to keep that in mind. If you don't know a guy who's spent a lot of time being hurt, you don't know he's a good pitcher. He's a good pitcher. So I'm looking to play this game under, and it may make my card.
The more I listen to you talk about this and sort of like look at numbers here, I think under is probably the only way to go. As much as I would love to like kind of take a shot with the Mariners, I'm going to go to the Mike in the chat makes the point where it's like Carpenter and Gleyber back. This lineup is underrated. Very much agree with that. Lucas says ever since Gleyber came back, the Tigers have been mashing. Yeah, like I just like there's no question the Tigers get a massive boost from Gleyber and Kerry Carpenter back in the lineup. And I feel like I haven't like really fully, I don't really like know how to quantify like how good that makes the Tigers, which is making me have a hard time price out this game. Like, and that's ultimately what kept me off the Mariners last night was Tigers get these guys back. I know it's a big deal. They come out and they sweep the Rays. So even though I really do like the Mariners, I liked them last night. I like them here. That makes it difficult. What do I like about the Mariners today? Well, Bryce Miller's been throwing 97 ever since he came back. That fastball's got life on it. I noticed it at Tacoma. I bet him at Tacoma when he was down there rehabbing. Ever since he's come back, great life on the fastball. Kiter Montero, guy's kind of been around for a while. He's only 25 years old, but he got to the States when he was like 17 or 18, spent years and years in the Tigers organization, finally made it to the big leagues. He's been up and down at the big league level, but two things that interest me about him. Really good command. Expected ERA is 3.45, and his expected batting average is 2.25. Those are very solid numbers for a starting pitcher. Solid underlying sort of numbers for a starting pitcher. And then, Brian, you make the point about the bullpens. They're fresh. My number's coming out a shade under 8, like a 7. I think it's like 7.91 or something like that. So, yeah, I could get down with an under 8.5 here. I think that's probably the best way to look at it.
Yeah, and you're looking at two pitchers who don't walk a lot of batters either. I'm expecting about 1.5 walks for each of these guys, and I'm expecting them to go between 5 and 6 innings between them. So you're not getting those free base runners you get, if you're looking at, San Francisco with Arup or Amai with Houston or Strider and Kashanowitz today. So, yeah, you're not getting free guys on there in a good pitching ballpark. That's always a buy signal for me.
Can I make a quick comment? I got my chronic walkers list up on my Twitter X.
Go ahead.
Ben Brown leads the list. Although Ben Brown's been pitching really well, he's walking more guys per start than anyone who starts today, which is unusual.
Well, he was a bullpen guy. So anytime we see that in Tampa Bay with the guy they're using as the starter now, he's going to walk more. But yeah, you'll see that's a common thing. But overall, Brown's having a hell of a season. Yeah, I've always liked him.
I liked him too.
He's gotten a chance to show it this year.
All right, let's move it along. I'll go to Billy in the chat. He says Rays trying to take it out at Miami for getting swept. Of course, he is referring to the Rays getting swept by this Tigers team in Tampa earlier this week. Brian, I'll go to you here first. Rays Marlins. I was not surprised that the Rays got swept. We talked about it on Monday. Thought the Tigers were the right side in that game. I cashed a 4% play with the Tigers in that game. It just felt like the Rays were going to start to lose some close games or just lose some games in general, and they did. Now, they do bounce back yesterday in the opener of this series. I believe that was a Okay, it was a 6-0 shutout. I wanted to make sure that was the final score. So a good result for them. But I'm still kind of like looking for ways to play against Tampa. The question is, do you have a way to do it here with the Marlins?
Yeah, I haven't mentioned the lucky teams, unlucky teams too much lately, but the luckiest team has been Tampa, and the most unlucky team is Detroit. And if that doesn't tell you that there was a money value on Detroit in that series, you're looking at some wrong things, because the money value was on Detroit, and it worked out, and they got the sweep. I didn't expect the sweep, but they're coming around, and Detroit's a team. I think I might have said this a week ago or something, that I think Detroit is somebody that we can make money on the rest of the year. So far, that has been. Tampa Bay, McClanahan going the lefty against Bashar for Miami. He'll be an opener. But McClanahan's about a 140 favorite, total of 7.5. I would have been more interested in Tampa Bay if I got something a little bit lower, maybe in the 130 range. I'm seeing a 133 at one of the sharp books, far away, as they say. So maybe we will find a 130. If I can get a 130 here, I might have more interest in Tampa Bay. Miami's a team that I like to back. Usually get good betting value on them. But lately, if you take a look at the guys that have been carrying them so far this season at the top of the order, they're all slumping a little bit right now. And you knew it was going to happen. These guys that are not home run hitters, are not guys that are used to batting 300. Eventually, they're going to fall back down to the 250 to 270 like you would expected. But it's just all happening at the same time. So right now, the Tampa Bay team, I like the coaching in Tampa Bay. I've always liked them. But it's tough to pass on a Miami team getting upwards of 125 as a home underdog, but probably not going to get there in this game. But if I can get down to 130 on Tampa, I think I might have an interest.
TB, let's get you back in here. Rays, Marlins, McClanahan, probably a bullpen game for the Fish. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, my numbers have Miami better than Tampa at almost every category, which is odd because straight off the bat, I would love to back McClanahan and the Rays here, but I can't, because Miami's bullpen is performing better than the Rays in current form. Bakar is going to be a bullpen guy. So yeah, Miami's bullpen performing quite well. And Miami is hitting actually better than Tampa right now. I got Miami ranked 19 and Tampa ranked 21. So I can't back Tampa, although I would like to. One stat of relevancy here is in his last 6 starts, McClanahan's only given up 5 earned runs. And 4 of those earned runs were in one game. So I can count 5 of his last starts. He's allowed 1 earned run, and in 4 of those was 0, obviously. So he's pitching incredibly well. Granted, he pitched back-to-back against Toronto and Baltimore in those starts. So it's only a 3-team sample, a 4-team sample. Throw the Giants in. He's pitching amazingly. So I think the Marlins first 5 team total under 1.5 might be a decent play here. Unfortunately, it's juiced to -120. MLB is so easy to get 2 runs, a bloop and a blast, and boom, you're done. So I wouldn't play that at -120. Would be the only way I would go, though.
I can't let this one slide, okay? And I'm going to make a point, and it's ultimately going to be how I close out the handicap here. So this person says, gentlemen, just joining in. Adam, here to remind you the +1.5 is a ridiculous dumb bet. That's why you never saw Koken, RIP, or Tokyo Brandon, the real baseball handicappers, giving them out. So, TB, I'm sure you've probably played a +1.5 before at some point in your life. Have you not?
I have,
okay,
and
Koken,
I've done a +1 also, yeah.
Koken, back in his day, was probably playing him constantly, because that's the thing. They used to have a bigger edge. Now you got to hunt them a little bit more. Now it's harder to find them because the books have realized what a sharp bet +1.5 was. You go back 20 years when they did it, the difference between the money lines and the +1.5s was smaller. All the sharp guys were taking the +1.5s. The reason it's harder to do now is because the Marlins here, +1.5 being -135, like 15 years ago in a game like this, it would have been like -110. and all the sharp guys would have been on the Marlins, and they probably would have hit. Koken also just didn't like to lay juice. So if he got one where he, like in this scenario, and he liked the Marlins, he was a huge proponent of like splitting his bet money line, run line to give himself a +1 and come out about even. So that's just a false statement. And also, yeah, RIP to Koken. I got to go out to dinner with him like once in Vegas where he just told stories for like 3 hours. Right before he passed away, we were texting back and forth a bunch. And like, that's like one of my biggest regrets was like just not realizing like I could just text the guy and he would respond right away. Because of course I've always like, you just don't text a legend out of the blue. But like, yeah, we talked a ton of baseball and he had plenty of situations where there was, if the 1.5 showed value, he would play it. So I couldn't let that one go. I'm going to be playing Marlins +1.5 here as my parlay leg at -135. It's probably going to miss my card. Luke Basher was the guy that opened earlier in this week for them against the Nationals. I don't know how the heck the Nats couldn't hit him over 4 innings. I think he's probably the opener here, but this is going to be kind of be a bullpen game again for the Marlins. I can't see him going 4 like he did against the Nats. But if he goes 1 or 2, like the Nationals, the final point I wanted to make was that the Marlins have all of these like 3-inning guys. It's something that they've been doing at the lower levels. They're right now, Jacksonville, AAA is loaded with guys that can throw 3 really good innings. And it's something the Marlins have done with their pitching where it's like they've got a bunch of these guys that can go 3 innings, be pretty good. That's kind of what you saw out of like Basher on against the Nats. And then the next guy, I believe Gusto came in. He kind of went 3 pretty good innings. And that's how they won that game earlier in the week. I think they can do it again, at least stay within a run. At -135, I'm going to use it in the parlay. If the Rays go ahead and take money and this gets down to like -120, it's very likely one of my client plays today. I like the Marlins. Bryan, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
No problem at all. First of all, I appreciate the comment. It's ill-informed. I've been in WagerTalk for 11, 12 years now, and I'm the winningest handicapper in Major League Baseball going back over a decade. But the reason why I wanted to make the point is Dave Koken, the last few years of his life, he didn't want to play the bullpens. He played the first 5-inning games. That's why he's not playing +1.5 in the end of the game, is because he wanted to take the bullpens out of it. He just got so frustrated, and it is frustrating when you're playing a full game. We saw it last night with the Rockies at the end, the way that game ended. I fully understand that. But Dave, from the last 5 years of his life, he never played a full game. He played first 5 innings. So that's why Dave didn't play it. But nothing against Dave. He's an idol to all of us. Love Dave. The guy knew more about baseball. I think I
forgot more than we knew. Forgot more than we know.
Let's just put it that way.
I love that saying. He probably forgot more about baseball than I know. That's how
basically,
right?
Basically, if you think the wrong team is favored and you can get them for +1.5 at -130 or better, it's a good bet. Basically,
especially
in a nutshell,
when the total is low, like a 7, that means a lot. It's in Colorado, when the total is like a wind blowing out, it's a 14. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
but
like the Reds.
When wind's blowing in Cub Stadium, it's definitely worth it. Yeah.
Like the Red Sox yesterday. I like them on the money line, but you could have taken them +1.5 for a really good number, and you would have won that too. Less risk.
And everything in betting is a case-by-case basis. That you can't, there's no one-size-fits-all thing where it's like the run line's always a great bet. The money line's always the right bet. Everything is a case-by-case basis. It's all relative to how it's priced. And again, I'll go back and make the final point I want to make about this game. When you have bad teams, young teams that haven't quite figured out how to win yet, they lose a lot of games by a run. The Marlins are kind of one of those teams right now. They've got a lot of talent. It's there, but they're just a little bit young, a little bit like haven't quite figured out how to be a really good team yet. That's why they come in 29-35. So this is the scenario where, the run to me in a game like this, and a game like, how about the Rays? How many one-run games have the Rays found a way to win this year? Like, they've won so many games where they're like the lesser team and they go out and win 3-2. They win 2-1. That is part of the handicap. You can't just look at, 1.5 against the money line. Everything, there's just more to it. And so that is why in this scenario, I'll be on the +1.5. And for the parlay, Brian, what am I looking at? Minus 135 right now?
Let me take a look.
I think it's like minus 135. And again, I'll tell you right now, if this comes down 15 cents because the market likes McClanahan, which very well could happen, I'll probably add it to the client card.
I'm seeing more 140s now. Yeah, the cheapest.
We'll do it. That's fine.
139.
Yeah, listen, for the parlay, for the 3-team parlay, I have no problem with plus 1.5, minus 140. So that will be my parlay leg. And it's the first one we've locked in. TV, let's get you back in here. Do you know where you want to go for today's parlay?
I do, but it's a game that we've already covered. So let me just throw
okay.
it
We'll
out there.
hold it off. Let's go to Bryan first. Let's see if he's got a different game.
There's a few of them that I was looking at.
All right, can I go to the if we've done one that TV's already, if he's going to do a game we've already covered, can I go to the chat for one and then we'll give you the let's go to the chat for one. So we've got our weatherman back. That's if you're new to the show, Bryan Leonard's the guy that keeps us up to date on the weather for all of these games. Someone in the chat is saying, what's going on with the weather at Busch Stadium today? Is that a thing? Do we have some sort of is it wind? I didn't see anything wind related, but it seems like people want to talk about this Reds Cardinals game. So it's an early one. We'll get one of the early ones in the mix here. Reds Cardinals, Busch Stadium looks like Nick Lodolo for the visitors, Matthew Liberatore for the home team. Brian, kick us off on this one. Anything out of the ordinary here?
Yeah, the wind's blowing out a little bit. The strongest wind for blowing out is in Philadelphia today. Philadelphia and Coors. Those are the two with the most wind. The wind is blowing out, but not as much in Busch Stadium and not directly out to left field. They're expecting, according to Ballpark Pal, which is a great website, they're expecting 4% more runs than normal. 4% more home runs than normal, but minus 5% runs overall. Still a pretty good pitcher's ballpark in St. Louis for the most part. So yeah, not a whole lot to worry about there. Getting back to the game, let's take a look at this one. And we've got Lodolo, Liberatore, a couple of lefties going today. Total is 9, by the way. I see a couple 9.5s laying about 130 juice, but 9 for the most part. We've got Liberatore about a 124 favorite. The Reds are a team without their shortstop, a team that I don't really want to be betting them for the most part. They've been very consistent offensively. They play in what has traditionally been a good hitter's ballpark, although the pitching coaches have found a way to avoid the long ball in that. So that's why they've been more successful from a pitching standpoint at home. But Liberatore's been pretty good on the season, and Lodolo's been up and down. He's had his injuries. Teams don't see lefties as much as they do righties. They only see them about 1/3 of the time. I kind of like the under in this game. I'm not a big fan of the Cincinnati offense right now. St. Louis had a blowout game. Was it yesterday or the day before? But overall, this is a team. Oh, they got their center fielder back. So that helps them a little bit. But he's been a little bit of a disappointment in his career. So I don't know if that makes much of a difference. But the 9 under at even money or minus 110 is a pretty good play to me. Or if you get, I see a couple out there at about 124 on the 9.5. I like that a little bit better if you could find it, and that's in faraway places that we're supposed to not talk about.
Yeah, TB, the Reds have been without Ellie De La Cruz. That's a big blow to their kind of overall just everything. I mean, that's a guy's kind of a superstar. So you take him out, and it's a team that hasn't, hit at times this year. Definitely worth noting. How are you seeing Reds Cardinals? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't see him on the injury report today. He's out though, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's out for a while.
Yeah, he's been out. He's going to be out for a little bit. I believe they called Edwin Arroyo up to fill his spot, who was rushing the ball at AAA.
Be there about a month or so.
Okay, they need to add him. They need to add him to the injury report then. So I have this game pretty tight. I mean, the win-loss record for both teams very similar. If you look at the pitcher stats against the batters they're facing today, very similar numbers, very mediocre. The one thing that stands out to me is the Reds are one of the only teams I have that rank 25th or worse in both batting and bullpen, where the Cardinals bullpen has been performing really well lately. I got them ranked 8. So that's a huge advantage in my opinion. And without De La Cruz, if he's out, look, he's their leading home run hitter. He's their leading hitter for batting average. So that's a big loss for them. And we kind of saw that yesterday. It would be Cardinals or nothing, but the bookmakers know that already. It's all baked into the line. So you can't get anything better than -125 here, but that would be the way I would go.
Yeah, it's a hammy for De La Cruz. He tweaked it on the final day of May. So far in the month of June, he has not played. He'll be out at probably third week in June at the earliest to see him back. And hamstrings are tricky. As someone that's had a hamstring injury before back in my soccer playing days, you never really know. That could keep you out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It could keep you out for 2 months. It really is a tricky injury. But since he's been out, they haven't scored more than 4 runs in a game. 9-2 loss, a 4-3 win, 5-2 loss, 10-3 loss. I don't think the Reds are going to score here. If they can keep, I mean, Lodolo could probably keep the Cardinals that day. So I don't have any problem with an under, Brian.
Okay.
Brian, now that you've had time to think,
for Cleveland has been out with a hamstring injury for about 60 days now. So
yeah, you just don't know. I mean, because you gotta, you let it. The only thing that heals it is rest, and then you got to go try it out. And sometimes it doesn't respond, and then all you do is go rest for another 2 weeks. It's people were dogging Juan Soto on Twitter for not running a ground ball out to first base. Guys coming off a hamstring injury. Why would it's like. He's probably in the same way. It's like touch and go. So it's a tough injury for sure. Brian, now that you've had time to think and we've got one more game out of the way, do you know where you want to go with the parlay?
I do. And I'm going to give out a favorite. I don't give out a lot of favorites on this show, but I like one today. Keep in mind, and we've talked about this in the past, where baseball is continually changing. 1 week you can hate a team. The next week you can love them. Last time Joe Ryan pitched, I said, there's no way in hell I can lay this number on Joe Ryan. It's too much. The Twins aren't that good. Well, the Twins are playing a lot better ball than Kansas City is right now. And we're getting Joe Ryan on the mound against Sevilla going for Kansas City. Look at what Kansas City has done on the road this season. They're sitting at 10-22 on the road. Minnesota has a winning home record. Minnesota they're down 24 runs on the season. Kansas City's down 50. There's a 26-run differential there in 65 games. So that's about a half a run a game there. And so I like Minnesota in this one. I like Ryan. And I like the way Minnesota's playing right now. And we're getting a line in the basically 150 range. I see it as low as 141, see it as high as 160 at MGM, who seems to always crank up the favorites. If your only sports book is BetMGM and you like to play favorites, you need to switch because they always jack up those favorites. So keep that in mind. But I like Minnesota here. They're playing the better ball and they've got their ace on the mound. And 150 means they got to win 60% of the games. I think they win this more than 60%, and that's how you make money in baseball. You compare what you think the line is going to be to what the line actually is. I think Minnesota's probably got it closer to a 67%, which would be a 2-1 favorite. So they're closer to 2-1 to me than they are to 60%. So but to get them at the 60% price, and I think they should win 65%. That's the way you win money betting baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, Tokyo Brandon, I'll go to you here. All I have to add to this, I agree with Brian. I've been anti-Royals all year. I'm not changing that now. Coming into the season, I said Joe Ryan was a top 15 starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. He had to work around a little bit of an injury, but I still think that, and I think I was right about that. Comes in with a whip that's under 1. That's tremendous for a starter. I have no problem with backing Joe Ryan here. How are you seeing Royals Twins?
Yeah, and if you take a look at my Twitter X, I got my outs projections up, and Joe Ryan heads the list. I got him projected to go 19 outs. So if you can get an 18.5 or a 17.5 outs recorded for him, take the over. Twins, the better team. The Royals are, along with the Reds, the Royals actually have worse than 25 ranking in all the categories. So I actually have them worse than the Reds. Twins are nothing, but I like Joe Ryan's outs props in this one as well.
Yeah, Joe Ryan
he's been pitching deep in the
According to
What is it?
Fangraphs, he's the number 10 ranked pitcher in Major League Baseball this year.
Yeah, I mean he's typical Joe Ryan. He's very solid, rock solid.
Real quick on that, Joe Ryan, three straight starts. Yeah, three straight. Yeah, Freebird. Shout out to Freebird for the donation. Very much
generous.
appreciate
We do
that.
appreciate that going to
Very
charity.
generous.
Leonard
Absolutely appreciate that. Great song, great solo in that song. I'm not that, people are like,
I just hope our win streaks go as long as Freebird does.
Yeah, for sure. No, all I was going to say about Joe Ryan and to Tokyo Brandon's point with the outs, and Bryan, you kind of echoed that. Like, there's so much incentive to keep him in the game for the Twins. They don't have a great bullpen. They've had guys injured recently. This is one team where it's like, if Joe Ryan can give them 8 innings, they will take it from him. Like, if he's going and he's good and he hasn't hit any sort of crazy pitch count, he is not coming out of the game. His last 5 starts have all been 6 innings or greater. He's had 9 strikeouts in 3 straight starts. Like, the Twins do not want to take him out of the game. They're not going to take him out of the game in a situational spot. He's only coming out of the game once he hits a pitch count that they don't want him to go past. So you're never going to have to worry about a scenario where they're like, oh, let's go to the bullpen for a matchup. It's like, there is no matchup in this Twins bullpen. Ryan is going to be better against any hitter in this Royals lineup than anything the Twins have in the bullpen. So it's a great thing to know when you're making those outs bets or the strikeout bets. You're going to get his full start. They will not pull the guy early. They just won't do it. So, yeah, Bryan, what are you at on Twins for? Was it minus 150, you said?
Let me take another look at it here. So sorry about that.
Let me throw out my parlay leg while he's looking.
Yeah, go ahead.
150s. Yeah. Lots of.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've
TV.
already covered the game, so I'll just throw it out. But before I do that, grab a double play. 2 of the 3 of us for 3 days, huge discount. Throw Bryan in that mix because he's been out for 2 days, but he's got a 5% play, and it's pretty rare for Bryan to have a 5% play. Grab him in one of us, and let's win. I got the Diamondbacks on the money line, and it's minus 166 where I see it. So I'll use that as my card.
Much better than that right now. You can get it.
You can get better than that.
142, and it's probably 148.
Okay.
I would say is.
Give it to me.
Yeah, we could call it 145 probably, right?
That'll be my leg.
Minus 145.
That's my leg.
Yeah, I again, we talked about that game. So if you missed the show, you can always go back on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, catch this show on demand. We did a full breakdown of that game. And we got to get off here because, of course, last call is coming up 11 a.m. Great show. You should absolutely stay tuned to the WagerTalk YouTube channel and hang around for last call. 3-teamer today is as follows. Bryan is going Twins on the money line, minus 150. Tokyo Brandon is Diamondbacks on the money line, minus 145. I'm going to take the Marlins plus 1.5. That's minus 140. That's your 3-teamer for today. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Let's cash some tickets. The 3 of us will see you on Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you then.